Whoa, baby, baby.
Hi everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of 101 with Stephanie. It's your girl Stephanie Jumbo. Today, as always, I am super excited. I'm sure you're asking why. I'm always excited. But today I have a very, very special guest. He is special in all the sense of special. He is known by his stage name Kranium, but his birth name is Carmen Donaldson. I'm sure he's smiling. I hope I got that right. He's a Jamaican reggae artist. He grew up to stardom when he first released his song Nobody in 2013, and he gained international recognition, and since then he has gone haywire. He has over 100 million views. Actually, one of the first dancehall artists with over 100 million views and over 100 million active listeners on Spotify. Welcome to Australia. He's here to bless us with some of the goodness he's come with, and we're super excited to have you here.
Respect. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Melbourne.
Yeah,
how was your trip?
It was long, but I mean, it's worth it. It's just another day on the job, and different city, different vibe, different people. So it's a good experience. My first time, so I mean, I'm ready for the excitement and the experience.
You're so real.
Yeah.
Real.
That's good.
All right, let's go back and talk about. I know you moved to New York, Florida when you were 12 years old.
Yeah.
And you've got music in your family. Your uncle is a musician who you lived with.
Correct.
At what point did you know that music was something you wanted to get into?
I think it all began from church. You know, I used to go to church. I feel like every Caribbean kid has that one strict grandmother, grandfather who apply church a part of your life as a kid. So I feel like that skill developed from just going to church, perform in front of an audience. It gave me the confidence and like the courage from back then. So I feel like it was like the nurturing stage of my career. But as I got older, I realized that I could actually sing. And then, as I said, Screwdriver was my uncle, who's a veteran in dancehall, gave me some pointers and stuff to do. So from there, I felt like, from the day I left further, I knew that music was something I wanted to pursue. Yeah.
At the age of 12, though, because when I hear you speak, I was hoping maybe there would be that the detachment from back where you're from, but you still hold on to your roots. How have you been able to do that?
I feel like culture is the most important thing in somebody's life. And when I came to the States, people failed to understand that my parents was here, but my actual entire family was in Jamaica. So I grew up with my grandmother. So I always back in Jamaica every summer. You know, so it was more like I come to the States, go to school, but every summer I was in Jamaica. You know, so it just couldn't left. It was impossible to leave.
Because at the age of 12, I was expecting you to be doing what's up, man? You know?
Yeah, and the funny thing is that I think I was like 13, 13, 14. Yeah. I don't know why 12, 13. I think I was like 13, 14. So it's like I went to high school in Jamaica also, and then I left from there, went to high school. So it's like the best thing I could say is that with me, I feel like my music actually come from my environment. So I mean, so I have the Jamaican side, but yet still I grew up in New York, so I'm still influenced by the American side also. But yeah, as I said, I kept true to my root. I didn't lose I didn't lose me. I didn't lose my heritage and me. So I feel like that's what actually kept me going.
Yeah, because people will be thinking, okay, you've lived there. You're not, because I've read articles of people writing saying, since you're not based in Jamaica, it's going to be very difficult for you to be really considered a dancehall artist. How have you been able to debunk such accusations?
I mean, I don't really care now. To be honest, I used to care, but I don't care because at the end of the day, I know me. You know what I mean? And the thing is that I feel like I didn't choose to do it. I feel like somebody had to break the cycle of being an artist from overseas that represent a culture just as anybody else. You know what I mean? Because everybody in the world that's outside of America, for some reason they want to come to America to live the American dream. So I didn't ask to be in the States. It was just coincidence and think that my family moved here and I had to move here. So you have people who's actually in the States that are from Jamaica, Africa, wherever they are from, and they feel pressured like they cannot be what they need to be and represent what they need to be. And I need to represent for other artists who is overseas, who trying to break and nobody's giving them a chance. But what I realize is that talent is something you cannot stop. No matter how much building blocks is there, I feel like for me make good music, what can you do? You have to just shut up and just enjoy the music or just work with it. And if you don't work with it, it's gonna work around you. So I felt like I reached that stage in my career where I was just like, you know what, I have the talent and I'm gonna just let the talent talk for me. Yeah.
You're very soulful, I must say that. Because I've read articles, I'll go back because I've been stalking you,
Yeah.
where you've talked about your annoyance for people who've come before you, how they've not been able to open the way for you, because you talked about that.
Yeah, of course.
Not being able to get international recognition they should have had by now.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of artists back then, I feel like people are scared and afraid to what's the word? To lose, to gain. You understand what I'm trying to say? So yeah, I realize that there's a lot of artists who get the opportunity to break on major scales, but because they're so stuck in caring about what people have to say, the choices that they make end up hurting them. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it puzzles me. I don't know what it's like. I reach a point in my life where I realize like a lot of artists, they don't know if they want to be the best in their class or the best in their school. You get what I'm trying to say? You know, some people in the school, like, you're very smart in your class, but when they all put in the old school, all the grades from grade 9 come to grade 12, everybody's like in one auditorium, let's see who the smartest one. So I feel like that's the problem with a lot of artists. I feel like they don't know if they want to be the best in the class or the best in the school. And for me, I don't want to be the best in the class.
You've been best in school.
I wanna be the
And
best
you've
in
been
school.
doing that very well.
Yeah.
You've collaborated with some of the biggest names that the US has.
Yeah.
You've collaborated with Tory Lanez.
Yeah.
That song was to die for.
Yeah.
You've done things with even Wizkid.
Wizkid, I worked with Ed Sheeran, I've worked with...
Shannon was The Shape of You. That was massive.
Yeah.
What was the experience like for you?
It was good, man. It was a very great experience because I felt like when I heard the record, I felt like it had like that Afro / dancehall sound, you know. So I think it had like a whirly sound. So when I heard the record, I wanted to jump on the record. And then it's just that one day Ed Sheeran reached out to me and be like, yo, they want me on the actual remix.
He reached out?
Yeah, they reached out to me and said they want me on the remix. So that's what that came about. And it was a good experience. And it was very good because at the end of the day, I needed it to like, you know, expand the fan base. And I like to collab a lot. And people sometimes say, oh, you just collab all the time, but people are not smart enough to know that you have to connect the dots. Because dancehall music and Afrobeat, dancehall, reggaeton, Latin, those music is not as mainstream as hip hop and R&B. And the only way to really get in that circle, you have to attach your name with some of these big artists, so that when your actual song comes up, they're already familiar with the name. A lot of people don't get that. You know what I mean? Because it's all about familiarity. Yeah. If I'm not familiar with a person, if somebody's not beneficial to you, they're not beneficial to you. It is what it is. So I feel like the way to be beneficial is sometimes you need to collab with these artists so that it could be in the circuit, and then from them you move forward. So
that was like massive.
Yeah, big.
That was massive.
It was very big.
Now let's come back home. I know back then you were going by the name Firebird.
Yeah, early.
And now you're Kranium. And the kind of songs that you did when you were answering that name and what you do now is quite different.
Quite different, yeah. Because everybody have to find themselves.
Yeah.
Just as life, you know, you have to find yourself. And I feel like back then I was taking on something where I was influenced by my uncle being an Rasta artist, but not being me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to be a teacher than just being a student.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where it comes from. And a lot of us get stuck like that in life because, you know what the crazy thing is, I was talking to my daughter the other day on the phone and she's like, she want to be a singer. I said, you sure? She said, yeah. I said, okay, you can be one you want to be. But then you have people who have some talents that are not gonna make you a superstar and not make you famous, but it's a gift. But because it's not something to make you be popular or famous, they intend to like drift away from the actual true talent, if that makes sense. Because even a person who working at the office, you're just a great receptionist. That's your talent to be a receptionist because you have great communication skills and you can be a manager. You understand? So I feel like that's where enough things got You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mixed up where people don't really
I
find the
want
truth
to
on
take
it.
you back a bit as well, because the sort of songs you've been releasing, which I love so much, especially between us.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that song is someone just putting chocolate in your mouth and it
Yeah.
just melts.
Yeah.
Forgive the graphic, but that song is just good. Tell me what you were thinking of. I know you're not a writer.
Yeah.
You don't write your songs.
Yeah.
What you were thinking of when you did know when Nobody came out actually.
The funny thing is with Nobody, I just had that idea I saw on Twitter. That's a girl post that she's tired of guys who talk a lot. But she never specified what she meant. So I took what I took from it and I felt like, you know what, I should make a record where it says that nobody else know that me and you know, messing
But
around.
this is the millennium. This is where we are. And
Yeah,
this is
of
what
course.
happens. This is what is happening. You know, people
Yeah.
don't want to disclose who they're seeing.
I feel like we live in a lifestyle, we're moving into a generation now. I feel like, I would say like, you have to be in two relationships just in case. Yeah. Just in case.
And on the side of it as well, because it's I don't want to say that, but with the way you described it, I read an article where they said you were comfortable being a side guy.
Of course, 100%.
Come on now,
Yeah, I'm serious.
a side guy.
I'm comfortable being a side guy. Brother, listen, honestly, like, there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us in this room,
Yes.
right? And for say 6 of us are actually in a relationship. How can I be so lucky to be in a room with 6 persons where their partner is the most faithful person? Let's be realistic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then what changed my mind is like, honestly, like, I've been with so many girls who's actually in love. That's the crazy part. So I've been with girls who are actually deeply in
So
love
that
with
means
them.
you don't do the love thing. You don't do the love.
Of course, when love comes, you can't hide it. You can't do nothing about it. But I'm just saying, like, we're living in a time where it's different.
Yeah.
Women are more exposed. Women are more freely. They're more free-minded. You know, guys have more options. So there's chances of a higher rate of somebody stepping out.
I like that because I know when you granted an interview where you said the song was actually written for it wanted guys to be upset or something like that, but women like it more. I just expressed to me. Actually, what I was going to say is how excited I am that even though you've written that song, you still have a perfect relationship with your baby mama. And how is Harmony doing?
Her mom is wonderful.
Yeah. How are you able to do that? Because like what you just said, going back to how our generation is now, and how many options you have and all that. And you've been a career man who is very successful at your age. How are you able to manage your career, your baby mama, and your child?
I mean, it's just something that you have to get along with, you know. It's I think family is key, you know, and you have to find a balance with it. Because me and my child mother are ups and downs, you know, craziness. And then everybody sit down as grown folks and, you know, the hate and the pain and the jealousy, everything goes through the door and it's back to raising a child. So I feel like with that being said, I just be the man that I'm supposed to be.
To your child.
To my child.
And your advice to other guys out there who's got a similar situation is be there for your child.
Just be there for your child, and then there's going to be time where the child mother is not going to be 100% happy with you. Because sometimes they still attached to you somewhere, and it depends on what's going on between both of y'all. I can fairly say that I had my fair share. I'm not a perfect guy. But I've been through my situation with my child mother, and I'm happy to say that we actually have a good relationship now.
That's fantastic.
So, you know what I mean? Sometimes things don't go the way you plan it, but as far as relationship goes with kids, it's very important for a guy to, you know, keep relationship with his child and the mother.
I'm glad. That's a positive note, because that's what I was expecting to hear, but that's amazing. It's always good to listen to people who've got the story to really share their stories with you. Now let's come back home, and you're in my city, my country, I'd say. You're here for some, you know, 2 fantastic shows, which the people out there are excited about. I'm sure you know you're the woman's man, and all the ladies out there very excited to see you tomorrow. So what should they be expecting when you get on stage? Are we going to be getting the Nobody, Kranium, or
of course, most definitely. I have fun on stage. You know, when I'm on stage, I have fun, and it depends on the crowd. Because sometimes, you know, artists go after the vibe. But I create my own vibe. So it's supposed to be nice, man. It's supposed to be very fun, and as long as the ladies are there, it's good. Man.
As long as the ladies are there, Melbourne girls, can you hear that? As long as the ladies are there, we're good.
100%, we're
Okay,
good.
they're gonna be there. I'm sure they're all getting their nails all done
Yeah.
and getting picked up for you to be there tomorrow.
Okay.
Before I let you go, this is a tradition. It's something I always like to do because I know when big artists, you're a massive artist, come to Australia, come to countries like this, there are up and coming artists who are just in their little corners, striving to make it, you know, and thinking of what they can do to really get to where they need to be.
Yeah.
What is one thing you would say was the propelling factor for your success?
I think you have to be persistent. You have to be persistent, and you have to be very calm, cool, and collective about it. And
Calm, cool, and collective.
very, and you cannot burn bridges. You know, it's very important not to burn bridges. And like if you're in a city, learn your city. Learn who are playing defense. Learn who's playing right wing, left wing. Learn your forward players. You know, because DJs are some of the most important people, if not the most important in music itself.
And bloggers.
And yeah, of course, bloggers. But DJs are so important to the point we have to create a relationship with them first and don't curse them, because I find that a lot of artists who's coming up, they intend to curse the DJs when their records are not being played, and not knowing that you always have to go around to come back around. You know what I mean? Because we're living in a world where nobody owes you anything or any obligation. So you'd have to make people interested. And I know it's very hard because I've been there, done that. But all I can say is true talent eventually will be recognized.
Because you, for one, you started with playing free gigs.
Yeah, of course, 100%. I went on tour for free.
Yeah.
I went on tour for free. I had the biggest song in the world. Nobody else to know at the time. And I was doing free shows, free gigs. I was going on tour for just a plane ticket and per diem just to eat food. And that's it. Yeah.
I think we don't have to talk anymore. Anyone listening to that part, if you're actually an upcoming artist, you've heard that. And if it's something you need to incorporate into your process of becoming who you want to be, I think that's actually a very good tip for anyone who's out there. Because people find these days, people want to be who they're not before they even get there.
Yeah,
and
but
you've got to humble yourself to be able to get
I mean, but and then again, it's not everything works for everybody.
Yeah.
So not because it works for me, it works for him or her. But it's just that you have to just know when to make the right choices. And management is very important. Management is probably one of the most important things being an artist. Yeah. And true friend. You need at least one good friend that tell you the truth. And so you get into a hype, relax. Yeah. You know, because if you don't have that, think about when a guy who's poor, doesn't have anything, wake up tomorrow morning getting gigs for $10,000 in his pocket. After 5 shows, that's what? 50 grand. You can't talk to a 19-year-old with 50 grand in bank account in a month. You know, so it boiled down to like somebody actually talking to them and say, yo, calm, chill. So it's all about like the management. Be very good with DJs in your city. It's very important because if you don't get support home, it's hard to get it somewhere else. And then after that, have a good friend and just be on the grind and just work your way through and just be cool and calm, cool and collective and the rest is yours.
And I think that applies to every area of life as well. I want to thank you so much for doing this with me, and I can't wait to see you perform tomorrow. And I'm hoping you're going to perform all my favorites like Stamina between us, because I need some chocolate melting in my mouth tomorrow.
You said Stamina?
Stamina?
Yeah.
Between us.
We was talking about a record earlier, but Stamina between us.
I loved it.
Yeah, between us, we have between us.
It's just...
We could get that, yeah.
Yeah, between us. Has to be, man.
Okay.
Has to be.
So Stamina between us.
Stamina between us. Special request from Steph.
Okay,
Nobody is well.
Of
And
course.
yeah, I want to thank you so much. And I'm sure everyone out there is excited. Tomorrow is going to be a bomb. And I'll see you then.
Thank you for having me.
It's your girl 101 with Stephanie. Like we do it, we keep it fresh, stylish, and I'm hoping you've learned something from what we've talked about here today and incorporate it into your life and see how fantastic you become. Once again,